All right, Halloween is upon us if you're watching this video when it gets released. And of course, middle schoolers are more antsy and excited than usual around Halloween. So honestly, like your 7th and 8th graders are probably gonna be a bit restless because they're looking forward to a night of dressing up and trick-or-treating and going out with their friends. And so to encourage and really harness that fun and excitement while still making sure that you teach your curriculum, we have a super fun lesson to share with you today that you can use this week on the Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of Halloween week if you're using it this year when this gets released. And of course, you can use this any other time of the year as well. So this is a haunted forest escape room and it lends itself perfectly to the Halloween season, but it doesn't mention Halloween. So if you're not able to celebrate this holiday in your school, you can still absolutely use this lesson. I'm including the link where you're watching this video to go download it for free. So the beauty of this 3-class period unit is that it's highly engaging. So your students are gonna feel like class is a little bit more special, it's out of the ordinary right now. And for you, it's standards aligned to your ELA curriculum, so it's a win-win. So the lessons that are centered around literary analysis are going to connect so much of what you teach this year in terms of plot, setting, and characterization. So I'm gonna walk you through what to do with your students on each day, and then you can grab, like I said, this entire activity with absolutely everything that you need for free in the comments below where you are watching this. All right, so you're gonna start with day 1, and this is where you not only hook your students with a fun game, but you're gonna front load them with background information that they're gonna need for the escape room. And the escape room is gonna take place on the 2nd day, and if you can, make that 2nd day Halloween itself. Like if you're in class with your students, do that one Halloween. So students are gonna read the short story, Hansel and Gretel, and then they're gonna review the 5 elements of plot structure, exposition, rising action, etc. And they're gonna do that through a fun game of plot structure showdown. So if you've ever played the game Spoons, then you'll be able to picture kind of how plot structure showdown works. But the goal of this is to try to get 4 of a kind of plot structure cards. So for example, they would need to collect rising action, the definition of rising action, and then an example of rising action, and then a direct quotation for the rising action from the short story. So again, the download includes all of these things that you need. And then once students get 4 cards representing the same plot structure element, that player can grab a spoon from the middle. And again, if you know how spoons works, this makes sense. If you don't, the activity explains it all for you. But what I love about this is students are gonna be so engaged, like they're not even gonna realize that they're actually learning how a series of scenes fits together to provide the overall plot of a story. Like it's fabulous. And that is a common ELA standard that gets addressed in middle school. So it's perfect for you, right? So the background knowledge is gonna come in handy that they're learning right now when they move on to the escape room the next day where they're solving more difficult puzzles. Okay, so that's day 1. Day 2 now, it's actually Halloween day if you're able to set it up that way. And students are likely just like, like they got their costumes on, there's probably some sort of party or, activity planned at school. Like it's always a little bit crazy. And all the more reason to really nail down like a super engaging lesson to keep your students focused for the period that they're with you. So in the activity that we're giving you, you get a bunch of like spooky posters. You can hang these up in your classroom the night before students are gonna come in on Halloween or on your door. You can even set the mood more if you want to by playing, spooky music on YouTube, whatever it might be, like really set the scene of like creepy as your students walk into your classroom. There is a little tiny bit of prep for the escape room activity that's mostly just printing out and making copies of the booklets. And it's all explained in the lesson plans that I'm providing you with when you grab this activity below. But I just wanna prepare your brain for that. So maybe you make copies like the week before for this particular section. Students are each gonna get a copy of our Haunted Forest Challenge booklet. And then you're gonna place students into groups of 3 to 4. Once students are in their groups, you will open up the Haunted Forest Challenge booklet and you're gonna read them the introduction to the escape room. And this is how it goes. You can play spooky music while you do this. It all started last week when you were in the library waiting for your mom to come pick you up. Looking around for something to do, you spotted a copy of the Beddington Junior High Herald that the librarian had displayed on the counter. You decided to take a look at your favorite section, which is called Stories from Around Town, that features true local stories. After you read that to students, you can then tell them that they have the remainder of the class period, or whatever time period you designate, to read that section, Stories Around Town, that article that's in their booklet. They're also gonna solve puzzles and they're gonna escape the haunted forest. And you can even do like 1, 2, 3 on your marks, get set, go, whatever it is. And then groups are gonna work together to solve encrypted codes. They're gonna unscramble words that describe the characters that they're gonna read about in the article. There are like mazes. They're gonna answer questions about a variety of literary elements, from conflict to figurative language, etc. And all that stuff's gonna reveal clues for them and codes. You're gonna be searching your room, all kinds of fun stuff, focused on those skills that we addressed at the beginning. And so while all groups should complete the entire escape room, it's up to you if you want to award prizes for like the groups that finished first, second, or third, doesn't matter. But in the lesson that we're giving you, we've included like a "We escaped" sign that students can hold up when they actually complete the escape room. I think it would be so fun to take a picture of each group as they complete it, holding up that sign, and you can do like a whole bulletin board display, give a copy of the photo for students to keep for like a fun memory, whatever it might be. So that is day 2. All right, last day, this is the day after Halloween. So this is day 3 if you are doing it in this order. Students are gonna come in and they're gonna be exhausted. They probably were up later than usual, that sugar high, all of the things. And it's gonna be really hard to have school as business as usual on that day. But you're gonna have one final trick and treat up your sleeve. So today, students are going to participate in a really low-key activity that connects back to the Haunted Forest escape room. So they're going to be writing a mini response to literature about one of the characters that they learned about during the previous day's activities. And since students are likely going to be pretty tired, the nice teacher that you are, you're going to give them the introductory paragraph already completed. And students will use like an easy to complete graphic organizer, and they're just going to create a text-dependent literary analysis paragraph. Like, that's it. Once students finish writing, you can reward them with a calm rest of the period. You can play them some real-life spooky story podcasts that they will be talking about for days. So these are all podcast episodes that we've shared about on our podcast before. If you want to go listen to them, I'll include the links where you're watching this video. But they are so fascinating. But before you do play them for your students, make sure that you listen to them first to make sure that they're grade appropriate for your students, your community, etc. So the first one is the criminal podcast. It's called A Bump in the Night, and that's episode 71. And I won't go into details about this one, but that's one that you could play for your students in your class. And then the second one is also from the criminal podcast, and it's How to Sell a Haunted House, and that's episode 145. Again, I won't go into detail about that one, but it is so spooky. Every time Jessica and I talk about it, I get like chills all over my body. It freaks me out as an adult. So it's very, very spooky and just perfect for students to listen to the day after Halloween. So you can't go wrong with either of those episodes, but again, please preview them before you give them to your students. And listening to a podcast after a few days of intense hands-on learning, it's really a great way to wrap up the 3 energy-filled days around Halloween this year. Of course, students will naturally want to discuss the episodes. That ties perfectly into your speaking and listening standards, and you can keep this activity, rigorous and engaging with your students. All right, so we hope that you have all the happy Halloween experiences and memories with your students. Remember that you can grab the Haunted Forest escape room below in the comments where you're watching this video. Let us know if you use it with your students as well. We would love to hear from you.